America is losing the future and nobody is talking about. I just read something that genuinely kept me up at night, and I need you to understand this isn't a political opinion. This is a math problem, and right now we are losing it. 10 years ago, China announced a plan. They call it Made in China 2025. State money, state direction, absolute focus. They picked their targets: electric vehicles, robotics, telecommunication, aerospace, semiconductors. And they went. Not we will see how it goes, not let the market figure it out. They went. And the scoreboard a decade later: electric vehicles, China. Batteries, China. Wireless telecom infrastructure, China. Robots, China. Hypersonic missiles, the kind the Pentagon admits we don't have a counter to, China. Sit with that for a second. Here's my favorite part. The CEO of Ford, the company that literally invented the motor assembly line, watched Chinese electric vehicles roll off the line and said publicly, on record, that was the most humbling thing he had ever seen in his career. Superior technology inside the car, lower cost, better quality, a company founded in 1903, and they're standing there watching China do it in 10 years. What took us a century, and we still think we are winning. Here's where it stops being uncomfortable and starts being genuinely alarming. In 2016, 5 of 10 most productive research universities in the world were American. 1 was Chinese. Fast forward to 2025, 9 of the top 10 are Chinese. 9. We went from dominating to barely showing up. And this is not because we got dumber, it's because they got intentional while we got distracted. China didn't just build factories, they built the minds that fill those factories. They increased basic research funding by nearly 4 times in 10 years. 4 times. While we were doing that, my country froze research grants, canceled programs mid-study, told climate scientists and mRNA vaccine researchers they were basically off the approved topic list. And I watched a startup that was about to revolutionize cement production, cement, which makes up 8% of global carbon emission, have an 87 million government grant yanked mid-construction. They had to stop building. Just stop. Let me say that again, because it didn't land the way it should have. The United States government is currently treating its own universities, the institution that gave us the internet, the smartphone, and Google, like adversaries. That's not a hyperbole, that's the direct quote from someone who ran MIT. The other government, the one we're supposedly competing with, just released a budget drop with a 16.3% increase in research spending. We are sprinting in opposite directions, and ours is toward the wall. Now let's talk about the people, because this is the part that actually makes my stomach drop. The US system has always won because we pull the best minds from everywhere on Earth. 40% of our Nobel Prize winners in chemistry, medicine, and physics over the last 25 years, immigrants. More than half of American billion-dollar startups founded by immigrants. We built the greatest innovation engine in history by being the place everyone wanted to be. That's over. At least 85 top-tier US researchers have already left for Chinese institutions since the start of 2024. 85. And that's the number we know about. Harvard just announced it's cutting its science PhD admissions in half this year. In half. Think about what that means 5 years from now, 10 years from now. The pipeline of American scientific talent just choked. And the AI, the field where this competition is most existential, back in 2019, only a third of Chinese AI researchers trained abroad choose to stay in China. In 2025, over 2/3. We used to be a magnet, we are becoming the repellent. And here's where it gets geopolitical in a way that should terrify anyone paying attention. A lot of technologies that were invented here in America, solar panels, lithium-ion batteries, the LiDAR system that lets self-driving cars see, are now manufactured almost exclusively in China. Not mostly, China has near monopolies on them globally, which means in the event of serious geopolitical conflict, they could just turn off the supply. No batteries for your electric vehicles, no panels for your solar farms, no sensor for your autonomous systems. Weapons made of supply chains, and we hand them the ammunition. We didn't lose this in a battle. We licensed it, we outsourced it, and they found our way out of it. Look, I've seen what's possible when we get it right. There is a company working on fusion energy, clean fusion, the kind that doesn't leave radioactive waste, can't melt down, and could theoretically power the world. They invented a magnet powerful enough to contain plasma at 10 times the temperature of the sun. 10 times the temperature of the sun. That's not the science fiction anymore. That's a company that raised $3 billion and has Google committed to buying power from their first plant. And that company exists because one institution decided to be patient with them when nobody else would. One incubator, one act of patience. Imagine that at national scale. Because that's exactly what China is building. In December, Beijing launched a fund designed to steer hundreds of billions of dollars over 20 years into early stage companies doing exactly this kind of work. Hundreds of billions, 20 years. Patience, capital, international strategy, long game. While we are arguing about whether climate science is a valid research topic. And honestly, this isn't about rooting for or against any country. This is about what happens to regular people when a nation decides the future doesn't matter. The jobs that don't exist, the cures that don't get discovered, the clean energy that stays theoretical. Innovation isn't a vanity project. It's the only reason living standards improve. It's the only reason disease get cured. It's the only reason the light stays on in the century that is going to demand things from us we can't even name yet. And right now, one country is building for that century and the one country is defunding it. The country that invented the internet, that cracked the human genome, that put footprints on the moon, is right now cutting the budget of the institution that makes all of that possible. And the country we spent 40 years calling the factory floor is running 9 of the world's top 10 research universities. I don't know what you call that, but I know what history calls countries that stop investing in the future. Former powers.